excited, and I just can't hide it. Welcome everybody, we are finally getting to do Dota on Demand breakdown. I'm so excited. Number 10, I believe, actually, getting to the double digits.
Yes, it is.
Here's my... No, shut up, I didn't introduce you yet. Here's my buddy J4Y.
Oh, that's me. Yeah. No, it's your other casting partner that you've had this whole time. That
Yeah,
does
man.
all these things.
Well,
I'm the
yeah, I was gonna
cameraman,
get
so
Toby
you're
in
lucky
here,
to
so-
have me. Okay.
how's it going, buddy?
Well, I'm doing fine. Just my throat doesn't agree with me on that topic, but I'm doing good. It's good. We got actually a team of 5 of our friends this time, all 5. So it's going to be interesting to see who plays support because none of them like to, only you do. So yeah, I'm kind of excited to see what ends up happening here. How about you? How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. You know, we've been trying to do breakdowns these past Tuesday nights after we do our podcast. But I guess Steam goes into maintenance around that same time, around when we finish up, so we have problems being able to see friends lists and stuff to be able to like get in and watch a game. So finally got around to doing one on an off night, so to speak. So here we are with 18 seconds left to
I was going to
pick.
say, no picks yet. That's kind of an interesting game.
Lifestealer, the first pick up for the Radiant, an awesome hero. I'll have to see if there are any heroes picked up that can really take advantage of the ultimate.
Mage too.
Ooh, a lot of carry, anti-mage. You
This
actually
would be
can
a good
think X.
Obsidian Destroyer game. Look at all those
Mirana.
carries. Good
That
gracious.
is a lot of carry.
Okay.
I mean, Nyx could ride along with both of those heroes, the Blink and the Leap as well, so definitely could take advantage of that if he sees fit.
As he sees. I mean, still no picks coming. I mean, our friends, I know they're indecisive, but they really need to get the ball rolling here. I can tell you who they shouldn't pick is anyone super tanky. Just because that Lifestealer is just going to wreck the house. There's a couple interesting picks. The Venomancer, and I know you're the fan of Venomancer, and then there's the Lion.
Absolutely, I know you're a fan of the Lion.
Lion,
We were talking
yes.
about it the other day.
There it is.
There you go. You were so, like, they had better pick somebody we've been talking about
Oh wait,
recently.
there's
and
Shadow
they-
Shaman on the other side, so we're going to actually have that face-off of the supports we were discussing on our podcast.
Yeah, there you go.
See
And then
who's better.
Kunkka picked up.
Wow.
So some tanky carries, all 3, Anti-Mage, Kunkka, and X, very just naturally tanky. And then Mirana is kind of the semi-carry. You could even really consider Shadow Shaman as a mid-hero, but he's probably going to wind up going into your
There's
side.
my Destroyer pick.
There you go. Terps, our buddy there, looks to pick up the Outworld Destroyer, starting off with 2 Manals of Intelligence and some health regeneration. We're going to have to see. It looks like he's going to go to the middle lane. Ricky Maru picked
Tell me
up
to get Profit now. Oh, that would have been it. I would have been so happy.
Omni Knight. That's a very... Oh, that's very strange. I don't know why he chose to go Omni Knight there. I mean, they definitely needed like some kind of tanky melee hero, but very interesting to see him pick up like another
They already
support.
have the 2 support with Lion and the Venomancer. The story was going mid, so then Ricky can pair it up. So I mean, I guess they're gonna give the farm to Omni Knight, which isn't. I mean, it's not like that turns out bad in all cases. I mean, he could be a pretty decent in-your-face damage dealer, but yeah, I definitely feel like there could have been a stronger pick. But I mean, then again, don't underestimate his ulti and his heals and repel. I mean, all those things are pretty nice in a team fight.
Yeah, I mean, when we get to the late game, the Radiant team's going to be doing so much damage on all those carry heroes that 5 seconds of near invulnerability is really going to be helpful to them. 5 going up to 7.
Yeah, it's actually interesting to note here, this bottom lane, it's just a solo anti-mage because Lifestealer is jungling, so, I mean, they really shouldn't have trouble zoning him, because he doesn't even have, was it the Buckler? Yeah, he doesn't have the way to block the damage, so if Lion can just harass him and then stun him with a heal, this should be easy for them, honestly.
Yeah, there you go. A lot of harassment damage being done by that Lion. Very smart on his part. You know, the nice thing about giving Omni Knight all this farm, he's going to look to finish his Ring of Basilius, and then he's going to probably try and get those Arcane Boots. That's going to give both those heroes a lot of poke damage. It's kind of weird, though, picking up the Omni Knight, especially against, like, a Mirana. I will have to see if she decides to go to the Fusel Blade. Something that I always like to see to try and counter that Guardian Angel ultimate, being able to purge off that ability. So we'll have to see which she decides to go as far as item pickups.
Yeah, double mana burn. That'll be good against Destroyer, I guess. I'm not sure. Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you. I think it's also interesting because we were talking about how Destroyer can build his skills, and already an early point in Arcane Orb by Terps here in middle. And I mean, I guess if he, like you say, he did a little harass there with extra 33 damage, but you figure against a hero like Mirana, who's not an int hero and has kind of a low base int pool. I mean, not that, like, I mean, this harass is actually working out pretty nicely for him, but I don't know, I might rather see him try to level that imprisonment to really, because I think she would have a lot of problems without that mana pool. What do you think?
Yeah, it's very true. I mean, like I was talking about the last time, it's like you get the imprisonment up, then you're giving yourself more passive damage. You're also giving yourself more mana regeneration too by increasing your intellects. So I'm leaning towards it. We'll have to see what he's able to do with the Arcane Orb. He does put his 4th point into the Astral Imprisonment. So there you go.
Then now be interested to see. He's probably going to level his aura, I would think. By the way, he's been building already. So probably max that out. And then, I don't know, it'll be interesting to see what he does from there. You would, like we said, we probably want to see that imprisonment just because you get the extra duration and intellect as you level it up. There's my voice. As you can tell, apparently I'm like on death's door, but I feel perfectly fine health-wise, so.
Me and Jay have been trying to do breakdowns for the last 14 hours straight. And so his voice is just really starting to give out. Here in the bottom lane, I actually see some more harassment done. The Lion, there's been a lot of harassment back and forth, actually. Anti-Mage has been able to stay up pretty close for a good part of this. He's now only 300 gold off of his Ring of Health, which is going to give him a lot of sustain in the lane. Only lane we haven't talked about yet is this top lane. We have Rikimaru and Venomancer against Kunkka and Shadow Shaman. That's a really deadly combo for the Radiant right there.
Oh yeah, I mean you can if you can get that. Oh, missed Venomous Gale. That's unfortunate. But yeah, if he can give a nice little shackle onto someone to actually, I like the skill builds. We'll start. Well, let me start with Venomancer. Obviously, it looks like he's maxing Venomous Gale, or at least put 2 points into already instead of that Plague Ward. I know that's definitely not the norm. At least you wouldn't do that. I don't know. What are your thoughts? Why would he try to do that in this game?
I think he's trying to go for kind of a kill combo, and he and Rikimaru could definitely sort of take advantage of that with the slow and the silence. Being able to go on this squishy Shadow Shaman, it's definitely something that they could consider doing. I don't think they're really going to be able to push well. Oh, there you go. First Blood in the middle. I don't know if you saw it, but I missed it completely.
Well.
Turf's getting very low. There you go. I bet it was the Arcane Orb. 100%. But there you go. He finishes 2 Null Talismans already. Now sitting on 800 gold, so imagine he'll probably look to get his boots soon. We'll have to see if he decides to try and roam a little bit, perhaps, or maybe just sit here in this middle lane and ensure some farm for the late game.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like he already actually, probably the reason he survived, he has 2 Null Talismans already. So obviously he's been making use of that courier really well, and that definitely, I'm sure, saved his life there. I just in this bottom lane, Lifestealer wants him to get out of his jungle.
In the top lane, Rikimaru looks to continue to chase down the Shadow Shaman. They were able to take out Kunkka. Shadow Shaman gets really low. I mean, yeah, I think this is where you're seeing the Venomous Gale and the Poison Sting damage level up come into play here. Getting the additional just slow. Go ahead.
Oh, I thought you were going to take it. Yeah, here comes the Terps with the double damage rune now. Oh my gosh, look at that insane damage just from auto attacks. That is a dead Lifestealer.
Boom.
Who says Destroyer can't do anything early levels? That's a lie.
Yeah, I mean, there's some Arcane Orb damage right there. Arcane Orb damage, bah. They're definitely making some quick work of that Lifestealer, being able to catch him down there. And yeah, now Obsidian Destroyer, we'll have to see if he decides to sit in his lane to see if they try and push with it, perhaps. I mean, it's just his Anti-Mage down here who's so hurt already, does not have his Ring of Health. They should definitely take advantage of the situation. We'll have to see what they look to do. Our Destroyer there looks like he might just try and go back middle, stop Mirana from pushing. Or is he?
Let's read on, shall we? He already has 4 points in that aura. I mean, that's just phenomenal. And like, if they can set up with that aura, actually, here we go. Initiation Anti-Mage. Destroyer's predicting it. Here it comes. Oh, that ultimate! What happened to his
so
face?
much ulti damage right there. Yeah, I mean, it's a great start. That's the nice thing about Our Destroyer. If you can get a little bit of a start, you can really start to take away with the ultimate. He's been able to pick up so much intellect up to this point. Right now he's sitting on 60-some right now, so, just a ton, and really going to be able to take advantage of that ultimate.
Yeah, I mean, that was just phenomenal damage coming out, and it's not hard when you have this kind of a nice steamroll start. He's got the 2 Null's Talismans, he's already got Robe of the Magi, so that's already putting him at 63 intellect. Compare that to Anti-Mage's 26. Yeah, that's a 37 gap, so you do the math there, because I don't feel like it. The point is, pretty big damage at level 7.
Hey man, I didn't want to do the addition to figure out what number in the 60s it was. I was just like 60 something. That's close enough. The Dire team now taking a 4-0 lead. Very nice here. Time to take a look at the farm. Looks like they now have about an 800 gold advantage. Really nice here. Certainly the first blood help there. And roaming from the Destroyer. How do you think this game's going to really work out? I mean, there's not a ton of push by the Dire. Actually, some harassment in the bottom lane. Lion very smartly stunning and then draining the mana from Anti-Mage, forcing him also to blink out, so really starting to eat into his ability to escape once he tries to come up into the lane.
I'm just still boggled by all these skill builds in this game. Like, the fact that Lion has not put a point into Hex, instead has put 2 points into Mana Drain, that's obviously not an ordinary. Normally you'd think he'd want to put points in that Hex to keep Anti-Mage from blinking. I mean, I can see how the Mana Drain would be helpful too, but you're only going to get a couple ticks off before he blinks, so I don't know. I'm not sure I agree with that necessarily.
It's weird. It seems like a lot of the pubs, I mean, I've talked to some of our friends about it too, they don't like getting the Hex until like level 8. I think that's probably what we'll see out of this line as well. For some reason, I'm partial to the Hex personally, but actually up here in the top lane, Orange might be in a little bit of danger. No, he is fine. Run out of that. There's so much harassment on him up there in the top lane, you think, between the Ether Shock, which actually hasn't had any points.
That was my last thing I wanted to talk about, yeah.
There you go. It gets brought up here. I mean, that could be really strong against this. Rikimaru now has no health regeneration. Has looked to finish off a magic wand. Doesn't have any kind of regen on him at all, whether it be items or like the Lion picks up a kill on Lifestealer, whether it be like a ring of health or just like the tangos. So.
And here's the unfortunate thing for this the Radiant team. Since their team essentially only really has one support, if he doesn't buy wards, they're pretty much not going to have wards. As you can see, they have no vision on the map. So they don't know where the runes spawn. They don't know when the ganks come from Destroyer, which he's already come twice now in the jungle and successfully killed Lifestealer, which is really putting him behind. So yeah, they really need to try to figure out how to get some vision maybe down there to protect their Anti-Mage, because if Anti-Mage, I mean, what's his individual gold per minute?
I hate to interrupt you, buddy, but looks like there might be some action up here in the top lane. Obsidian Destroyer comes in, he imprisons Kunkka. Orange looks to go in here on Shadow Shaman. They now look to focus on him. So much damage being done. The backstab, the blink. Outworld Destroyer picks up the kill. Looks like Kunkka was able to escape out the back, but another good kill and pickup for this Outworld Destroyer. Nyx looks to come in, put a slow up on the Rikimaru, but unable to do anything other than sit here and watch his lane get pushed.
Yeah, he's just wasting time, because there's nothing he's really going to be able to do against these three to stop them from pushing. There's just a couple melees that don't even have really... I mean, okay, Kunkka has some pretty good lane control with his Tidebringer, but, aside from that, they're really just... He needs to get back in the jungle and try to catch up, because I feel like he's just really wasting time here.
Yeah, I mean, if you were going to see someone go to that top lane, you would expect it to be like Mirana, or, have the Shadow Shaman start putting points in this Ether Shock to be able to hold off this little bit of push. Actually, here in the middle, looks like Turbs is running around with an invisibility. Might be looking to stalk that Shadow Shaman. I don't think he sees him. He's actually going to go and try and come in behind this tower, getting really confident here. Has turned his power treads to int. They look to go in on this Kunkka. He goes down before Outworld even gets there. We'll have to see if they want to press this on the Lifestealer, who now has almost no mana left. He will have enough for Rage, but does not have enough for the slow.
Yeah, I think there's no question they're going to be able to set something up here. Here we go. Waiting to use that ulti, of course, because that Rage is up. It's now going to end. Here comes the ulti. Actually, the banish first. Is he going to drop it now to get the kill? I was expecting a KS, to be honest. I'm really surprised that didn't come out there.
Oh, Kunkka looks to come way too far up. He drops the ultimate. Doesn't really do much there. Looked like Amina had dropped his ultimate, actually, just to make sure that there wasn't any... I don't know really what he's expecting, perhaps to come in there and really cause a big problem out of the one hero, but drops the ulti just to make sure they don't lose anything there in that top lane. They now retreat. Look like they might want to try and do something here on this tier 1 tower. It's good to note that they did pick up a kill on this bottom tier 1 tower, but here it looks like they're going to dive the tower yet again, pick up a kill on the Shadow Shaman. Good heal from Omni Knight will ensure Venomancer stays alive. Now a 9-0 lead. Yeah, he will get out of there barely.
I think that was a good heal for sure, and he also has the arcane boots, so that with the aura. Oh, good arrow set. Actually, Marana, they're going to definitely go in here. There is no hope for this Iron Knight. He is going to fall, but not before some major damage coming out. Outworld Destroyer uses the ultimate with the silencer, Ricky. That's 2 kills for Outworld Destroyer. He's going to try to maintain surviving here, but they're probably just going to kite him here, and sure enough, he does fall. Oh, that is some major damage coming out from both Ricky and Outworld already. 12 to 1, 12 minutes in. That is not how you start a game, or want to at least.
The thing to note, they did pick up their first kill.
That's
one
true.
Good thing. Anti-Mage, absent from that whole fight, he does manage to stay in the bottom lane, pushes that bottom tier 1 tower to about half health, picks up his Ring of Health, and now is sitting on 1,200 gold, so on his way to a Battle Fury, I'd imagine. We'll have to see if he decides to try and pick up the Vitality booster to finish off the Vanguard, or if he just looks to hold on to that Stout Shield and turn the Ring of Health into the Battle Fury. And at this point, I think they really need to get as much damage out as possible. I think he really needs to start looking for that Battle Fury.
Yeah, Vanguard, while it will help against, like, the Ricky, you gotta imagine, here comes a ton. Outworld Destroyer and Lion are both gonna do a ton of damage. Burst damage. So, while he does have that passive magic resist, I don't think a Vanguard's going to save his life. I think you're right. I think he needs to do some damage. Where did that kill happen? Was Lion trying
We're not doing
to
too good
warp
watching these
Vasily?
kills. I don't know if he does go down to Marana, or she was able to pick up her first kill sitting on some phase boots and 2 Wraith Bands. Pretty smart decision to go for those Wraith Bands when you're not really getting a good solid lead. Ricky Maru will blink in, apply his cloud, and get a kill there. They now look to continue this on to Marana, who was unable to lead because of cooldown, and then of course the cloud as well was stopping her from doing anything with that. There you go, the hidden bonus effect of Arcane Orb does do bonus damage to illusions, so Outworld Destroyer able to just kill off those illusion rune copies very quickly there. And now they look to push this middle lane. Now that Venomancer is starting to put points into his wards. 2-2-2-1. I love it.
He likes them all, man. He likes all the abilities equally.
There you go. Why choose, man?
My favor.
Have your cake, eat it too. Interesting to note, this Dire team has 2 pairs of Arcane Boots and 2 Rings of Basilius as well. They're really itemizing for this team fight. Good heal comes up, stops Venomancer from going down. The Shadow Shaman wards have been placed down in kind of a weird position. They might actually be able to get farmed off here. Trying to defend this tower. We'll have to see if the Dire team is able to actually farm any of those off. We did see that one managed to go down to Lion, I believe, so placed up a little bit too far. They were probably trying to look to get some kills there with those wards, but now they're not going to do much of anything.
Yeah, there's a decent initiation by the Shadow Shaman, King Vino. He almost went down, but then the heal came out. He went right back to full. There's the arrow. Ooh, it's going to land for at least a few seconds here. Another good heal, but is that going to be enough to save Venomancer? He's going to use his ultimate. Oh, there's the Iron Knight ultimate, perfectly used there. As you can see, 3 of them affected by this Veno ult. They're going to definitely lose some health here. And they got to be careful, because here comes around the big damage dealers, Ricky and Outworld Destroyer. So they got to be careful. Ricky jumps in on Shadow Shaman. Absolutely falls. No chance with that cloud there. Here comes the eventual Ash Imprisonment. Trying to land something here. Gets CC'd by Lion, and that is another dead hero. 3 down. Triple kill for Ricky. Unbelievable.
Yeah, you know, it's something that I don't know how much we brought it up really when we were talking about Outworld Destroyer in our podcast, but we mentioned it with Nightmare and Bane. You know, the Ashel Imprisonment, as we just saw there, does a good job of giving the team time to come in. We actually see Ricky Maru gets almost completely taken out. This Imprisonment placed on himself, Outworld Destroyer phases himself out, and then picks up a double kill there, trying to pick up the last couple hits on this Ricky, pops that wand, and will survive.
He's still at full mana. That's why I hate this hero sometimes. It's like, he just never uses mana. I just don't think it's in his blood to use his mana. If that
Ricky
makes
Maru?
sense. In his... No. The Outworld Destroyer. He's just always at full mana. He can cast his ultimate, he can cast whatever, it doesn't matter. He'll get it back.
Yeah, I mean, that Essence R is so strong, and, you know, we're seeing them fight a lot as a team, really taking advantage of that Essence R. Outworld Destroyer now picking up that Mystic Staff, huge amount of intellect now. He's approaching the double intellect mark, as you will. Looks like Riki Maru is actually going to pick up the Diffusal Blade. So very interesting pickup there, looking to burn down the mana of Shadow Shaman. Not interested in dealing with that CC any more than they have to. And of course, if you can burn down Mirana's mana before she can get out of the cloud, no leap. So that's another big reason to pick up that item there.
Yeah, absolutely. I also want to point out here our good friend Ilyich's awesome build with Lion. Decided to go Dagon, you know, just to stack the damage up, if you will. A godlike streak comes out here as he catches Kunkka in the woods by himself. He is hitting just way too hard now. How much is that passive orb hitting for at this point?
That's a lot of math.
Oh my goodness.
There you go, 108. Yeah, that's huge. That's almost double damage for this Outworld Destroyer now. And Riki, as we were just saying, getting a huge amount of farm. He has assembled his Diffusal Blade, and they look to continue to keep up the pressure, fighting as a team. Very smart on their part. They're going to look to pressure this Tier 2 tower. Good to note, though, Anti-Mage is continuing to farm off on his own, doing what he can. He does finish that Vanguard, so not looking to increase farm by that much. Looks like Orange is actually going to go way past the tower, try and take out this Mirana. Will he be able to? Yes, he will. Blink Strike to her and pick up a kill there. The rest of the team now behind the tower. Good Shackle by Shadow Shaman. An ulti from Anti-Mage, not doing a whole lot there. He will actually look to go down to the Lion ultimate, 3 for 0. There's nothing they can do behind the tower with the Shadow Shaman wards. This team is so late game that they just don't have anything to be able to fight the Dire at this point.
Exactly. They really did lack in... Their picks were a little off, to say the least. They started out kind of nice. I liked the Lifestealer, I liked the Anti-Mage. Shadow Shaman, you know, seemed good. The Mirana is like, okay, they kind of have enough. I could see if you put them in the side lane. And then Kunkka, it's like, okay, you're not going to win like any of your lanes. That's probably not going to go so well. And sure enough, it did not.
Yeah, and I mean, aside from the fact that you're going to be at such a disadvantage in the early game too, you're trying to split farm between 4 heroes that all desperately need it to be useful in the later part of the game. I mean, I guess you could say 3.5 because Mirana's still very strong with just her basic spells. Looks like the Radiant have just kind of given up here. 4 of them just sitting in the well. Anti-Mage off on his own, farming like a boss. This is the Dire looks to push into this base. I mean, so what do you like really about what the Dire did in this game? What do you think it was that was really what secured them the game?
Well, besides the fact that their lanes were, I think, really well set up and planned, obviously Destroyer getting off of that first blood really secured him a foothold because he was able to buy those boots, he was able to gank, he was stronger, I guess, for that gank bottom, and he caught them off guard. And once you, you know, kill their jungler and their bottom lane solo Anti-Mage, it just started snowballing, I think, from there. And top lane, not only did they hold their own against the Shadow Shaman Kunkka, which is a pretty strong lane, they actually, I'm pretty sure they won the lane, which is pretty impressive. So, when you win all 3 lanes, I think you're setting yourself up to win the game.
Yeah, definitely. It was nice to see the Outworld Destroyer made it a point to gank both lanes, top and bottom, and they were definitely able to pick up some kills each time they did that. And I think you're right. I think it was a big part, his early lead, and then taking advantage of it by helping his team in the other lanes. Certainly a big part of what got them this impending victory.
I mean, who knows what could happen? I mean,
you know,
Destroyer
maybe
could buy
everybody
Radiance, you could lose it, and
Radiance. Divine Radiance.
I meant Divine. You could buy Radiance too if you wanted.
I mean, at this point,
I don't know how you lose it, but could just drop it on
go.
the ground.
I mean, with an ulti orb, interesting. I guess he was going to go for the sheep stick. Very good item choice there. I'm trying to see if we can at least figure out where some of these heroes were looking to go. Venomancer didn't get anything outside of the Arcane Boots and the Ring of Basilius we mentioned earlier, getting a couple pairs for the team. So, you know, it's really nice to see that they were all really realized that, okay, we got to win this early, we got to get on top of each other, really take advantage of these items that we're stacking up and, you know, drive it home.
And that's why Lion has a level 2 Dagon recipe. He understands they need to win it early, so the more burst damage you have, the better.
There you go. I mean, in his defense, at the time he was building it, I mean, there was, let's say little hope for the Radiant.
Very, very slim pickings there.
Yes, Terps messages me, sorry about that, all that ownage. Good to know that they're all very humble in their victories.
Well, when you're on TV, you know, you gotta...
There you go.
You gotta be full of yourself.
For sure. Well, thank you guys for joining us on this episode 10 of our Dota On Demand breakdown. I'll have to see if maybe we can get some more of these breakdowns out for you guys. Of course, any criticism, critique, appreciated. Thanks for joining us. Yet another Dota On Demand breakdown.